Hey folks, it is Monday, December 4th. The time is 2:13 p.m. and the temperature outside I think is around 3 degrees Celsius. I'm here at Sheppard-Yonge Station. That was a northbound train that just rolled in, and I think a southbound train is pulling in right now. Anywho, for this one I'll be heading on up to Yonge Street and then walking north a block over to Sheppard Avenue East. And then I will walk east along Sheppard to Bayview Mall. Or rather, Bayview Village Mall. And we'll go for a quick walk through the mall once I'm there. This is the southernmost exit of the station. And this is Yonge Street. And let's look north into the Willowdale neighborhood. And a view south, and way off in the distance is the CN Tower. Not sure how well the camera can pick that up. As mentioned, I'm going to head up to Sheppard Avenue and then we'll start walking east. And this one should be a little over 2 kilometers. There's a Whole Foods. Oh, look at that, future home of a Cactus Club Cafe right at Yonge and Sheppard. There's one down on Adelaide Street West in First Canadian Place. That's a Vancouver-based chain, and I think it's the same owners as King Taps, which is also in First Canadian Place. We'll just cross over to the other side of the street here. Yonge Street is the main east-west divide in the city, so that is Sheppard Avenue East to the right and Sheppard Avenue West to the left. And right at this corner, of course, is Sheppard-Yonge Station on the Yonge Street side of Line 1, but it's also the western terminus of the very short Line 4, the Sheppard line. I would not have expected to see a Cactus Club up in Willowdale. So this is east along the north side of Sheppard Avenue East. I was here about a month and a half ago live streaming. It's been a very long time since I've done a pre-recorded video in this area. And you'll see it's quite a distance to the next subway stop. And this neighborhood, East Willowdale, is roughly bounded by Finch to the north, Bayview, where we're heading to the east, Highway 401 to the south, which is to the right, and Yonge Street behind me to the west. There's a Dollarama. Joke Ball Night Market Korean restaurant. As you can see, Sheppard is quite Stroady in its character. For sale, effective cockroach poison. I have officially seen everything. And this is Doris Avenue, which runs parallel to Yonge through Willowdale. And the Sheppard line underneath Sheppard Avenue here opened back in November of 2002. And it only extends to Fairview Mall. It was originally supposed to go all the way into Scarborough Town Center. But Metrolinx, the provincial transit agency, has recently opened up discussions about extending the Sheppard line east as well as west over to Sheppard West Station, which would make it a much more useful line. And despite low ridership, it has spurred some development, which we'll see coming up, mostly on the south side of Sheppard here. I really think, given the nature of Sheppard, just being a big wide open Stroad, a dedicated busway would probably have been a far more effective use of funds, as essentially the Eglinton West subway line was canceled, so that this very short subway extension could be built, and the Eglinton West line would have been infinitely more useful. There's also the 85 bus we'll see running along Sheppard, which still has a decent frequency, and given the distance between some of these stops, I'm sure a lot of people still rely on the bus rather than the subway. I can't imagine those smaller homes will be there much longer. But it really is a hodgepodge of different buildings meeting the street. Single-family homes, low-rise commercial buildings, mid-rise commercial buildings. There's an 85 Sheppard East. There's a notice of redevelopment on that building over there. JB Kim and Sons. This is Kenneth Avenue on the left and Leona Drive on the right. And Leona Drive, at least the north end of it, looks... Oh, that car! It just turned left at the green there. All right. It looks like you can't really go anywhere. It just hits a dead end right away. I'm sure it continues just south of there. This is nice and pedestrian friendly. Imagine when the subway line went in over 20 years ago, they did not think that Sheppard would still kind of look like this. And I think part of the reason is the line doesn't really go anywhere. Ideally, it would have connected over to line 4, or the then line 4 at Scarborough Town Centre. Hopefully it's extended and it connects to the line 2 Northern Scarborough extension. But all this is probably a good 20 years away at the earliest. Sheppard Physio Clinic. As mentioned, I'll take a quick walk through Bayview Village Mall, see if they have any Christmas decorations up. And even though it's a weekday afternoon, I don't really think this gets much busier than this. I've been along here at different times of the day. And pedestrians are always few and far between. There's a new condo going in. Well, would you really bill that as having subway access? It's probably taking me 10 minutes to get here from Yonge Street. You can see how long it takes to get to Bayview, where the next stop is. Internet, light, and power. Well, that sure tells me a lot about the services offered over here. Invictus Game Station, Internet and Cafe. Here's a Timmy's. Sheppard Wine Works, Spring China House, Sushi, the Middle Eastern Market. Hey, a Wimpy's. You don't see too many Wimpy's anymore. Stroads like this are just so random. There's Sheppard East Park across the street. Should we be surprised if they're not signaling? It's going to be nice to warm up in a shopping mall at the end of this. Where's that car turning to? It seemed out a little far. Yeah, they don't know where they're going. So we're still quite a ways to Bayview. And I think that distance between subway stops might be a hindrance to this area intensifying. Or at least becoming less car-centric. But the next three stops are pretty close together: Bayview and Bazarian. And the one right after that, which I believe is Leslie. And it's quite a walk to the last stop at Fairview Mall. That would be Don Mills. This is Wilfred Avenue. Craft alcohol and bodega. Espresso bar, bottle shop, casual dining. I've been seeing the word bodega thrown around a lot in places that don't really resemble what you would picture as being New York City bodegas. Doesn't seem to be much of a corner store element to that place. Oh. Looked like that truck had a parking ticket on its windshield. Behold, your invitation to a concert on December 2nd, missed that, a market December 10th, and Christmas Eve on the 24th. There's some homes that don't look too old, and they back right onto Sheppard. That must be kind of noisy. When I was growing up in Mississauga, we lived in a townhome that backed onto Dundas Street West. And was similarly close to it. This is the People's Church. They really copyright strike me for playing their Christian rock. So just south of here is Highway 401, the busiest freeway in North America. And that runs parallel to Sheppard. Cleaners, Pilates, a vape cave, a nail salon, and a math academy over there. Kingswell Car and Truck Rental. Looks like they're a U-Haul agent. So a chartered accountant and an RMT. And a Roman Catholic church on the left. This is getting cold and windy as we make our way up, finally, to Bayview Avenue. And the Bayview Village Shopping Centre will be just on the left. There's the stumpy New York-inspired towers on the right. Those went up a long time ago, in the early to mid-2000s. And a lot of NIMBYs in the area championed having their heights reduced. It just kind of made them look silly and disproportionate. There's been some much taller buildings since approved in the area, so it was really all for nothing. There's a nearly empty Sheppard bus. Okay, it's for 35 and 39-story buildings here on the left. We have made it to Bayview Avenue, which you could take south all the way down into Corktown. Rather the Canary District, although I think you can't drive all the way into the Canary District, but the road does lead into there. But it's very much a Stroad up here. And you can see Highway 401 there. And this condo is kind of shaped like a cruise ship. There's an entrance to Bayview Station. Got a major intersection with a couple of gas stations on each corner. It's pretty indicative of what kind of neighborhood we're in. And as much as I'm a fan of building subways, I think having an entire corner, such as the northeast corner over here, dedicated to a subway entrance is a rather poor land use. I think the subway entrance ought to have been integrated into another building. And it's worth noting there's an IKEA just off in the distance on the right. There's Bayview Village Mall on the left. And if I'm not mistaken, there's plans to redevelop the parking lot into condos, something we're seeing happen a lot in shopping centers in the GTA. Toronto has 5 major shopping malls. I think they would be Fairview, which isn't far to the east of here, Scarborough Town Centre, which is further to the east, Sherway on the west end, Eaton Centre, and Yorkdale. And there's 18 smaller regional malls. And this would be one of those, although some of those smaller malls are slated to close, such as Cloverdale Mall and Etobicoke. And Centrepoint Mall in North York. This mall has about 110 stores and 440,000 square feet. It opened back in 1963 as an open-air shopping center. And it was also home to the first ever Gap in Canada. I did a walk through here, I think at the beginning of last year. There's the Loblaws anchoring the west side of the property. There was a Kmart in this mall that closed back in '98. And at a time a few decades ago when a lot of these smaller regional malls were suffering, this mall decided to take an upscale turn, and I think it's worked out well for them. You'll see for such a small mall, it's quite nice. There's a Oliver and Bonacini here. It's a large restaurant group. All right, part 2 of this video. Passing through the mall. Ooh, this is nice and warm. So we're just going to start here and probably do something like that. Got an El Fornello. Boomer's Donuts. There's an entrance to Loblaws. A Burmese restaurant. Chocolate store, Mastermind, toy store, and a Starbucks. Looks like a vacant spot on the left. It's quite pleasant in here, especially after being on that cold, hostile Stroad. Fortunately, there seems to be a fair bit of vacant stores. There's another one over on the right. Also, for a weekday afternoon, it's fairly busy. Got a Santa. Let's take a quick loop down this wing. And this will kick us just back out into the parking lot straight ahead. There's a cafe down there, bread and roses. Mall doesn't have an integrated entrance to the subway. I would imagine most people are here via the car. It's not really a destination mall. There's a Banana Republic. I haven't seen one of those in forever. and a Sephora. Those are everywhere these days. TNT. I wonder if this is the very location of the first ever Gap in Canada. But I'll lead you to parking out that way. The Terry Espresso Bar and Cafe, you don't see too many of those anymore these days. No CBO. It also doesn't have a traditional anchor mall. There's the Loblaws. And there used to be a Kmart, which would have been a suitable anchor for a smaller retail mall like this, or regional mall. I'm going to head on up into Bayview Station. I could keep going over to Bazarian Station, but maybe I'll save that for a future walk. I'll do Bayview over to Bazarian or Leslie. This is Hawkesbury. See how long one of these light cycles is. I'm guessing quite long. And I'll pop up into the station just over there. Just wanted to cross over to the other side of the street. It looks like in 10 seconds we'll get the signal. And now it is west on the south side of Sheppard. I don't know, this kind of development doesn't really age well in my opinion. Never quite get that community feel. Always feels kind of cold and uninviting to walk around areas like this. Private property. Developers have definitely tried to get their hands on these homes. In fact, it looks like they probably have. Development notice. Well, that's cute. Seems like we have a holdout here, right on the corner. I think that house right there. Has refused to sell. But there's the redevelopment notice for the mall. And I tapped into the subway station at 1:40. So I'll easily be able to tap back in on the same fare. And this is actually a free fare. Rogers has given users of their card five free taps onto the TTC. So I added the card I never use to my phone, and I'll tap it for the third time for free. And after 2 more times, I'll probably remove the card. So I'm going to head down and go west for one stop. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Walking east along Sheppard Avenue East from Sheppard-Yonge Station and then through Bayview Village Shopping Mall. It's a decent crowd waiting for the next train. And let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides. which I haven't updated in several weeks. And there is a super thanks button appearing below the video if you wish to say thanks that way. I'm not sure if I'll leave the camera running until the next train comes. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a while. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.